Alright, hello everybody, Resonance here, and today I have yet another expert game for you guys as part of my Break the Meta series for Age of Empires 2. This time we're doing it live. Throughout the series I'll be showcasing a wide variety of creative and situational strategies while evaluating how they might stack up in the current metagame. You can actually hear my neighbor taking a shower as he does every stream right now. Don't worry, they'll end in a few minutes. We've all seen our fair share of galley rushes, knights, and neighbor showers timed every stream, so today it's time for something completely different. Today it's time for a 1v1 on the map arena where one of our Teutons players goes for a very bold rush strategy with Castle Age Teutonic Knights, and his opponent must find a way to react just in time before everyone's favorite unique unit runs him over. So this match was played on the new Aoe2 HD Steam expansions, patch 5.6 on the Voobly multiplayer client through the Wololo Kingdoms mod, created by Giant Apple and Tails. If you're looking to improve and learn more about Age of Empires, then you are in the right place, with plenty of expert games tutorials and weekly Twitch TV live streams. I've got everything you need and more to put you on the path towards success. I also play a wide variety of other games, and one of the best ways to support the channel and grow the Aoe2 community is to support the content that I do for games beyond just Aoe2. So thank you so much in advance. Game speed 50 feels awfully slow, my goodness, my goodness. Alright, so anyway, without further ado, let's jump straight into the game. I am going to have to revise my Patreon goals, and it would mean a lot to me if a few of you could pledge a couple dollars. See, there we go, the shower has stopped, we're all fine. But this replay was submitted to me by Ready Teddy, but he didn't select a game, only a series, so I picked this game because this match is absolutely awesome, so make sure that you watch it all the way to the end. Hopefully the shower didn't turn you off too much. And seriously, gigantic thanks to all of my Patreon supporters for allowing me to continue streaming and making YouTube videos regularly. I do need to overhaul all the goals and rewards though, which will happen in January, and I'm just really appreciate that everyone's super flexible about that, so thank you. So anyway, the real question though is which one of these two very talented, top-rated players will be the one to channel Master Doubt's Break the Meta spirit. If you haven't seen the rest of my Break the Meta series on YouTube, then check it out. But in the meantime, tune in and find out which and what insane strategies we have in store. On the top side of the map, we have Edie playing as the Red Teutons, and on the bottom side of the map, we have Cataclysm, who will be playing as the Teal Teutons. So what exactly changed with the Teutons between 1.0c and Aoe2 HD patch 5.6? Well, most importantly, they have a new technology at the castle called Ironclad, available in the Castle Age that gives their siege weapons plus 4 melee armor, which is a legitimately powerful upgrade and only costs 400 wood and 350 gold, which is again the same type of resources that you would expect to have if you were going for heavy siege weapons. That tech's actually really sick. I'm not sure if it will see play in this game, because when I select Break the Meta replays, usually what I do is I watch the first, 15 to 20 minutes to determine if there is an exceptional, or acceptable level of awesome. And if there is, then I leave the rest to fate and see how the match concludes. So hopefully we see some Ironclad. We might. I mean, most siege weapons are super vulnerable to melee units, so this is actually a huge boon to have. In addition, the Teutonic Knight got I think it was a plus 0.1 movement speed buff, or it was 0.05, which while small does certainly help. The civilization also benefits from the numerous buffs to infantry with the reduced cost of squires and tracking, and also a wide variety of subtle other changes that I cannot wait to show you how they will impact the game. So to be clear, what makes this match so awesome is how many unorthodox units that are actually utilized super duper well here, and that I can't actually list all of them in the title, so you're just gonna have to trust me. It also highlights the dynamics between tech differences with the Castle and Imperial Ages. This is truly the perfect example in my mind of classic Age of Empires 2 and why it is so popular today. Defensive versus heavy offensive play. This showcases counterplay, counter units, economy discrepancy, surprise tactics, and immaculate decision making on both sides. And so, let's talk a little bit about the game itself. I also realized I may have missed a few questions. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Audio keeps cutting out. Are you serious? Are we dropping frames? Alright, let me know. Let me know. Everyone says it's fine. Hajo Relief, submitting replays will be for the Discord and Twitch subscribers. Sorry, it'll be done on Discord through Twitch subscribers and Patreon donors because everyone's encouraging me to try and go kind of full-time with YouTube and Twitch, at least while I have a chance, because some people are concerned that, if I get another office cubicle job, that they will not be, very permitting of me doing streaming on the side. I got lucky before with all my other previous jobs. So the company that I was working at after Forgotten Empires was, at least initially, very supportive of me streaming, even though it was a fairly standard 9-to-5 office, tech startup job. And one of the reasons that they hired me was because of my expertise on streaming, and they wanted, insights on influencers, and they were building products for streamers, so it just made sense. But in general, some of my supporters have expressed their concerns that if I just get a job at miscellaneous X company, that I'd have to really cut back on streaming. So a lot of people are encouraging me to do this full-time, at least for a brief period, and it's something that I am certainly considering doing. So with your support, maybe we could do it. I just need to drastically shift my Patreon goals around. In January, I'm going to really redo the whole way I do my streams. Maybe do more streams on top of that. I got a lot of changes in store that I hope you're excited for. And also this game, which is absolutely ridiculous. To talk about this game in specific, this is Arena, so players start with stone walls. This discourages early Dark Age and Feudal Age rushing, but you are watching Break the Meta, so you also know that that's a dirty lie if you've seen some of my episodes. Things like episode 14, the Tower Hop, is an absolute must-watch. So I'm going to use very vague words like generally discourages early game Feudal Age aggression. But once you hit the Castle Age, my friends, oh, it's on. Why is it on? Well, because this map is all about map control. Players need to get these relics because the game could go on for a while, and unless you're playing on like Arabia, the average game time on Arena is longer. I don't know exactly how long it is, but let's say the game goes on for about 50 minutes, right? You will generate maybe 1,000 relic gold, and that could absolutely win you the game. So Arena is a very map control oriented map, and it's also actually fairly aggressive. Like, it's the first, maybe 15 minutes or so that are fairly quiet, but after that it is absolutely intense, and I love that. In the early game, now if you're looking to get into AoE2 and you're watching this video, one, you're gonna have a good time, but two, you should probably check out my AoE2 tutorials playlist on my YouTube channel, and then watch my Night Rush tutorial, as that is a great way to get started. But just letting you know, the early game, these players, they're focusing on their food and wood economies. They are going to try and constantly sustain villager production from their town centers, if at all possible, or research and technology. Always make sure it's doing something. And you'll notice that only at the very late Dark Age do they assign 2 villagers to gold. This is a fast Castle Age build, very, very standard. We're going to see this from both players here. They have almost identical build orders, and they're focusing almost entirely on food and wood, even going up at about the same time. Stable coming down for Cataclysm, Blacksmith coming down for him as well. Will there be a stable in response from Edie? Yes. So, what's up with the stables, you might be wondering. So, the Teutons are the only civilization in the game that get access to stable units that don't get the light cavalry upgrade, which is really cheap. 150 gold and 150 food and 150 food and 50 gold, and that is a huge power spike and allows them to kill off enemy monks really quickly. And as I mentioned earlier, the arena metagame is very much relic and map control oriented, so it's nice to be able to get that light cavalry upgrade. Alright, back into the game itself. So the stable is for multiple purposes. So Fast Castle Age, again, like I said, is the standard meta strategy, and Break the Meta is a series that's all about showcasing off-meta strategies done by expert players that are viable in very specific situations. Now, what makes this situation so special, I will get into in a moment, but know that the stable is a multiple purpose building here. It allows them to go for the Fast Castle Age, that's why they're going for the Blacksmith plus stable to fulfill the building requirement. But now they want the Monastery, and now they want the gold, so they're going to start rallying villagers onto gold. But neither of these two players are going to make the mistake, of course, of rallying villagers over there a little bit too soon. One of the most important things that, when I asked Tato and the Viper in person, actually, what their most important things to them were in Age of Empires 2, they thought that should be covered more in commentaries, was the concept of map control and also scout HP. And we see here that absolutely coming into play in terms of establishing relic control. Now, the way this map is set up, there is only one relic that's actually in favor of Cataclysm, but everyone else is debatedly in favor of Edie. So this allows Edie to make knights and allows him to make scouts. Both of which will be super duper important for map control. It's actually very helpful too, I think, to rally a couple spearmen in the middle of the map as well to try and pick off the scouts. So let's see how good the micro is from these players. He's actually going for the conversion on the spearmen, which I do think is correct, as the knights resist the scouts resist conversion. And another thing I want to point out that makes the Teutons such an interesting civ is that a couple things about them. One, monks have 2 times healing range. This is kind of relevant on Arena. Not really, but it is. The farms cost 33% less, does give them a much better boom, and units resisting conversion is really, really sick. So basically the conversion chance is halved. And overall, on a monk-oriented metagame, that's pretty huge. So why make the knights? Because I talk about this very frequently on my stream, and knights are hard countered by monks. It's just a huge resource swing, and the knight doesn't frequently make it in time before the conversion comes off. Unless you're the Teutons, then they usually do. So another town center coming down here. This is immaculately well placed by Cataclysm, allowing him to, chop some wood, as well as mine his gold and protect his stone. But what's going to make this game weird, exactly? Because we're approaching weird status. We haven't quite reached it yet. And the way to do it is to look at Edie's Fog of War. What does he see? Now, he doesn't see the whole picture, but the whole picture is much worse than he knows. He needs to do a little bit more aggressive scouting. One pro tip I can give when you're playing Arena is to send your scout cavalry around and try and get as close to the enemy walls as possible, just so that you can see the layout of his base. And this will decide whether or not you're going to play offensively or defensively. And most of my favorite Age of Empires 2 games to cast are ones where one player is playing offensively and one's playing defensively. Both of them right now are trying their best to grab as many relics as humanly possible. What Edie does not know is that there's actually this main gold right here and this main stone that are both forward, which is absolutely devastating. He does know about this gold, which is very vulnerable and difficult to defend, and he knows about this gold, and this is the gold that's going to trigger the attack from Edie. And right now we are going to have a little bit of a battle right now for map control. The scouts focus firing down the monk, will be able to pick it off with ease, but it's going to come down to some good spearman micro. You have to be very careful on Arena to make sure that your spearmen are always attacking scouts and not attacking other spearmen. Now, the Bloodlines Upgrade is actually really helpful here if you plan on committing to this sort of relic war, because it does mean that the spearman takes 4 hits and not 3 hits to actually kill a knight. Ooh, he really wanted to stop that conversion on the spearman. But again, I think going for the conversion of the spearman over the scout was the correct play, because the scout doubly resists conversion. And Edie will secure the 3rd relic. So what's he up to now? Yeah, so he's up to 3 relics, and the Cataclysm did a great job getting 2, considering that I would say the way the map is set up does favor Edie perhaps getting 4. Let's talk a little bit about the map, because the map is what's going to make this a Break the Meta episode. So look at the back of Edie's base. He's got a goal at the back. Doesn't really matter. He's got some space to build. He's got an extra little deer that he couldn't lure because it just would have been too difficult based off the actual map layout. And he is a forward main gold. Now, if we go to Cataclysm's perspective, Cataclysm actually doesn't know this, although he does have a scout rallied here, so this is when he sees it, right? Come on, come on. Closer. He sees the town center, that's sketch. And he pulls back! Ah, why you... Don't pull out like that, guys. Finish the job. So, it looks like he's actually going for the monks instead. He's aggroed onto them. If you can pick off any monks, it's 100 gold. It's a huge blow to the enemy economy. So that's actually a very good play on Cataclysm's part, but it does cost him some valuable information. But Cataclysm is a very high-rated arena player, Edie also being just one of the best ones in general. So he saw that town center. And what does that tell him? That there's probably a front gold here. And Edie also has his secondary stone outside. He has a secondary gold outside. He knows that map control is of utmost importance here. And now, Cataclysm playing a little bit in the dark. This is good. Edie flexing a little bit. Moving some of his military units forward. He wants to keep the scouts inside the base. So that way he can now drop the castle. Why is Edie playing so aggressively here? Because of the way Cataclysm's base is laid out. He has so much visible information in terms of his resource spawns where a forward castle would really threaten him. Like, imagine if there was a castle like over here or something like that. It would completely screw Cataclysm, you'd think, right? He'd lose a gold, his main gold, he'd lose his main stone, and he'd lose his secondary gold, he'd be crippled. This castle right here, which, because Edie's a good player, is built out of range of Cataclysm. I believe that this is a bug, actually, and the Cataclysm does not see this, except now he does, but it's too late, my friend. It's far too late. Cataclysm knows he is in the back foot, and now it is time for Edie to put on some pressure. He is going to open up with the Knights, and this is absolutely brilliant. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. You will see why in a moment. But yes, look, he wants the gold, my friends, and he's going to get it. This is seriously important because even if this rush fails... Oh, he's not going to get the monk pick off. Sanctity. Also get Sanctity because it allows your monks to live... It's either 1 or 2 additional hits from a Scout Cavalry. I have to check after this game. Sanctity is very important, actually, as an upgrade on Arena. This is good. This allows him to create Petards from his castle, and he built the castle, again, not making the mistake of building it too close to the walls, but he's going to shoot it a couple times, and then he's going to hit it with a Petard, and he, like, slightly miscalculated it, because ideally what you would do is you would lower it just barely enough, so that you only need 1 Petard to blow through the stone walls, and then you send the Knights in immediately. This is such a powerful rush strategy. But what's he going to back it up with? Teutonic fucking Knights. This is why I love Edie so much and why I love Break the Meta. Because look, there's not enough time to react to this. Look at this man. Look at this man. He's putting down his barracks. Like, now he's putting down an archery range, but you're the Teutons, my friend. You're the Teutons. You only get crossbowmen. You don't get bracer either. So it's going to be a really, really tough battle for him to deal with those Teutonic Knights, as they will delete those pikemen and apply so much pressure. But why is that the case? Why is it the case? So, the Teutonic Knight as a unit is 5 Dura Armor, and that means that it takes 1 damage from pikemen, and it does relatively well against Knights. So these spearmen that Cataclysm is forced to create because the Knights were the thing that came out first, oh, it's just not going to work out for him at all. Now all those pikemen are going to get completely clobbered by the Teutonic Knights, which will just mop up the space. And they're able to mop up the space because the Teutonic Knight creates in 12 seconds. I think an aspect of the unit that most people forget about very, very frequently. Now I realize I did miss a sub. My bad, guys. Thank you so much for reminding me. Thank you so much, Zungo7, for your 2-month resub. Mustache Man for your Mustache Man 37 for subscribing to Twitch Prime, which, if you're an Amazon Prime member, is free. And thank you, Scarface Frostborn, for gifting a sub to Hijau Relief. You are all awesome. Thank you. Don't think I missed anything else. Don't think I missed Spencer's. So yes, thank you all for the heads up on that one. This unit creates in just 12 seconds, and that's what makes the Teutons a defensive civ, ultimately, is that the Teutonic Knight is really good at defending the base of a castle. And now, with the forward siege workshop down, here comes the battering rams. Cataclysm's in a lot of trouble. So how's he going to react to this exactly is the question. Well, he has to kind of... So he gets the Imperial Age first. This is why I don't like casting these live. He gets the Imperial Age first, and this is another thing that Edie recognized because he's paying very close attention to the scores. And when the score drops as much as it did, I'm going to have to go back and pinpoint that specific point in the replay, you know your opponent's going in. And this gives Edie even more opportunity, but this also puts him on a really interesting timer, right? He has to do as much eco damage as humanly possible to Cataclysm within this time frame, or he's going to lose this game. Now, these halberdiers, Still doing 1 damage to these Teutonic Knights. Still doing 1 damage. I don't know about you guys, I'm not very impressed with the damage output on this unit. So you know what? My overlay is bugged for some reason. It should be showing the researches in the top left. This gives Edie a window of opportunity because Cataclysm has been trying to research chemistry for the last, like, 2 minutes at his, university, so he can get hand cannoneers out to try and deal with this army. But he can't. He has to wait for that. And he has to wait for them to mass up. And right now, his base is just an absolute mess. So notice how Edie moves the Teutonic Knights in to try and engage the Halberdiers, while he backs the Knights away and tries to not engage with them directly. He's not doing a particularly great job with it now. He's actually just taking the fight head on, applying a head onto the forehead. Will he be able to get away with that? That is the question. The Teutonic Knights do not have an attack bonus versus any other infantry units or Halberdiers in general. It's just +4 versus buildings, and then +4 versus Eagle Warriors. The +4 versus buildings, though, like, really allows them to, if you drop a castle on your opponent, it allows you to apply a lot of pressure. Edie is going to win this battle anyway, because even though all the Knights are dead, and I think he could have probably microed that a little bit better, the Teutonic Knights are basically invincible to all melee units, and the only way to beat them is with ranged units that cost gold. And Edie really thought that he had this game kind of on lockdown, because he's only off the 2nd gold, he's in this eco, he's causing a lot of pressure, he's found the main gold, he knows it's vulnerable, and all these villagers are idle. So he's like, well, where's the money coming from? How is he making hand cannoneers? And here's the main problem. Cataclysm has a back area. Has he even scouted yet? He has scouted yet, right, exactly. So this could be a potential problem for Edie, and this is something that there's no way Edie could have known, and one of the things that makes Arena such an interesting map is that ultimately there's no way he could have known that Cataclysm would have access to safe gold. But otherwise, this is such a brilliant play by Edie in every aspect that I'm just impressed, honestly. Like, it really is. Because this forward castle denies this gold, and then it allows him to enter the base really easily, and then deny the main stone, the main gold, and soon to be the secondary gold. That should be it, because normally you only have 3 gold mines per players unless you have extra. So Edie should be fine. And Edie really has no intentions of getting to the castle age here. He wants to end the game now. Making this mangonel is very smart, because mangonel should be able to pick off these hand cannoneers. Yeah, I think I'm a little sick too. I'm still streaming today anyway. Oof. Some reasonably good micro there by Cataclysm is going to dodge that. Now, Cataclysm as well is also playing this match immaculately, but he was just put in a bad position because Edie's breaking the meta with a little bit of knight play. My favorite type of foreplay is knight play. And then you transition into some Teutonic knight play. Really catches him off guard. And now he's going to drop another castle. That's my boy. This one seals the deal. This... He actually deleted it. It didn't die, don't worry about it. Look at him massing up mangonels. This is so sick. He's responding to this exactly appropriately. This is Castle Age versus Imperial Age warfare here, which we don't often see often. Edie has no intention of going to the Imperial Age anytime soon, and he's taking this on because the Teutonic Knights beat the Halberdiers, and then you mass up enough mangonels, and you can take out the hand cannoneers with ease. They only have 35 HP. They die in 1 shot to a mangonel. They're just like crossbowmen. Now, they have 7 range, which is kind of problematic, but they're super inaccurate at long range, and they're just gonna miss a lot. So just keep massing up siege weapons, keep making Teutonic Knights, and clobber this man. Now, he really wants this castle here, because once this castle comes down, this is so significant. 2 relics will be lost from Cataclysm, and then his main stone and secondary gold. Now, this one, Edie knows about this, but he should really send a knight here like pronto. And Cataclysm is recognizing this being a very good player himself. He buys 100 stone, you see that, and immediately puts a TC there because he's like, I need to protect this. Because otherwise I have no gold in account. He hasn't started mining gold back here yet, because he just doesn't have much of a way to actually get any eco over there. And, I mean, if we compare the populations, it is 90 villagers for Edie compared to 68 for Cataclysm. He's sustaining some serious eco damage. And you know what else is even sicker? This game contains Scorpions! Why Scorpions? Because look at these fellows just getting deleted. Oh, these hand cannoneers can't hit anything. They're practically blind. And they're taking 12 damage a pop. Look at that. Boom. Headshot. The hand cannoneers are down. And if they're clumped up, then they're going to take so much pass-through damage from those Scorpions. I don't think Ironclad actually poses any real value here, but yeah, there we go. Here comes Edie coming in with, again, an excellent play, just cutting off the gold supply, and the only reason he's able to get away with this, because again, normally this is a probably bad strategy, is purely because of the map generation. And that's why a good Age of Empires 2 player, and that's what Break the Meta is all about, are situational strategies and like describing the situations where they actually work out. This is just a result of the map. Edie knows that if he doesn't play aggressively, he's going to lose out in his secondary gold, secondary stone, potentially his main gold. Like, he's very vulnerable to a castle drop right here, and he does have a secondary gold at the back, but still, like, those are things he's worried about. He really wants to get these relics, and he understands, Edie understands, that if this rush fails, he can just strip mine the whole base from Cataclysm, and then this game could go on for a long time, and there's going to be no gold left at all for him. No gold, no stone, no nothing. He's going to take it all. And this is sick. Absolutely sick. He gets the town center low enough in HP that the villagers can't garrison, forcing a repair, and then now he needs to bring the mangonels back in to try and lower this. But check this out. Check this out. He's going to do it. See, now the research thing works. What Age of Empires do? It's almost like this is an old game or something like that. And there we go. Villagers are out. Knights can clean up. Please don't eat your own mangonel blast, though. Friendly fire sucks, guys. So anyway, Cataclysm. His eco is at 54 villagers. So he's about half of Edie's economy. And yet he's still, the thing is the Cataclysm is making the right plays. He's making the counter units. He's getting at the bombard cannons. And this is essential because the way the game is so immaculately well designed that if you can get out, by the way, remember, Cataclysm has just, I mean, like, he could mine this stone, and his back stone. He doesn't have enough villagers to commit to stone right now, so he can't really make any trebuchets. And you got the chemistry upgrade anyway, so you should just get the bombard cannon upgrade. And this will allow you to deal with the mangonels, which were harassing your hand cannoneers for so long. And now this puts Edie in a really awkward situation where he has to repair this castle. But he's repairing it with Cataclysms on stone, and he's strip mining this gold. Edie knows this game could go on for a while, but it's okay, because he's done so much damage to the eco. He has such a massive look at this. 47 villagers for Cataclysm compared to 105 for Edie is absolutely massive. Thank you so much, Corvob, for subscribing. Gluepot for 12 months. Really, really appreciate it. And Sergeant Pepper says, Happy New Year's, my man. Gives me $10. Thank you all so much. I'd love to be able to do YouTube and Twitch full time. And it's going to take a lot of support from everyone. And it's also going to take a lot of effort on my part to really improve my stream. No more Lobby Simulator. It's all... I'm going to have to make a lot of improvements to it. And I'm excited for that. So these halberdiers will mop up those knights with absolutely no issue. But it's good to see Edie, looking at the back area, trying to do some raiding. I wonder how suspicious Edie is. I think he's very suspicious. And he should be. At this point, if you're Edie, what thoughts are going through your mind? One, I need to tag into something else, because this is going to be a short-lived battle, and Cataclysm he must have a back gold. That's why these knights were sent here in the first place, not just to raid the farms, but also because Edie's really suspicious. There's no way the Cataclysm should be able to afford bombard cannons and actual hand cannoneers. There's just absolutely no way. But he's able to do it because he has 4 villagers in gold, and he's actually selling some stuff at the relics at the market. But the relics are down for him, so maybe Edie be able to jack a couple of those. More Teutonic Knights coming out. It's what makes this game so cool to me, besides everything I've listed so far, is that Castle Age Teutonic Knights are not a very strong unit compared to the Elite Teutonic Knight. The difference between 5 and 10 Dura Armor is absolutely massive. It's basically... Okay, think about it if you're facing like a knight, right? You're still taking damage. In the Imperial Age, you're not taking any damage. But this thing is hard countered by basically all ranged units. He's trying to raid with Teutonic Knights, you madman. Thank you, Cision, for giving us the extra movement speed. And no, this match is seriously crazy. You are seeing Teutons teching into ballistics crossbowmen in the Castle Age. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is happening on your screen right now. Edie is teching into Teutons Crossbowmen with ballistics. 44 minutes in the game versus an Imperial Age Teutons player with an eco that's only getting smaller. Because there's another and he's raiding with Teutonic Knights. Is he gonna get away with it? You've got to be kidding me. No, just go for the farms. Show me the +4 attack bonus. No, keep going, Eddie. Deeper. Look at this shitty. This thing is okay. This unit has 3 line of sight, which is super bad. Which means that Eddie saw it coming, and he's losing so much time to cook wall, and Eddie's playing blind. You see how sad this is? This unit has such a poor aggro radius, which is one of the problems with it. Back in my day, when we were balance testing, because I played a really heavy role in the balance of Rise of the Rajas, Agrarian Kingdoms and stuff, and a lot of the patches trying to clean things up, because there were obviously a lot of really broken things, lobbying for various changes. One of the weird things about the Arambai back in my day was that their search radius was so poor that the unit itself, despite being far more powerful than you could possibly imagine, like it was way stronger then than it was now, was really not a useful unit because it wouldn't aggro on anything. Teutonic Knights suffer from a similar problem, very, very poor eyesight. But yeah, and now he's raiding, and Cataclysm, starved of gold, and his villager count only going down. And Edie, again, he's doing all this in the Castle Age. This is so sick. But that's a pretty good split too. But we have to give props to Cataclysm. You always have to. He's advancing the Imperial Age now, nice. You have to give props to Cataclysm, because he is making all the right units at every opportunity for the situation and responding to the best of his ability. But the map was not in his favor. But there was one mistake he made, and I'm pointing this out for your own reference. He did not stonewall off this area. Like, he did not really heavily protect it. Because in the Castle Age, the thing is we know that there's no way that Eddie is going to get to the Castle Age for quite a long time. Giving him access to very weak siege weapons, potentially, like, it's really just battering rams, right? And mangonels. So it takes a while to break through those stone walls. So you get, like, fortified walls for pretty cheap, and you get, like, fortified wall off this area, and then make sure that you get safe gold and safe stone, and at least some space to farm. And he did not do that. And as a result, Edie actually managed to discover it with the world's slowest, most blind unit in history. Fucking skirmishers as the Teutons. What am I watching? Love AOC so much. And if you're enjoying this game, please leave a like, rating, and comment below. It helps out a lot. Thank you. Giant Apple gifted a sub to Sergeant Peppers. You're the best, man. Hey, yeah, no spoiling the game, by the way, guys, if you know how it ends. Justice for Pluto says, do you think that mods or user patches that remove back areas in Arena are better than Vanilla Arena? It depends. I actually think that the back areas in Arena make things really, really interesting, but it would be better if they were more fair, Like, Edie has a back one, but he doesn't have any extra resources. So I actually think the back areas in Arena should be kept, but it'd be better if they were a little bit more balanced. So, let's talk about another resource in this game. I mean, hey, if you guys want to see it as a Patreon goal or something like that, like, I don't know if I want to spend 60 hours on a documentary on this, but if it's necessary to make AoE4 a great game, I might just do it. Let me know if you're okay with maybe, like, lower production quality on things that, like, aren't tutorials. Like, if I just want to do, like, a vlog about why the Condottiero is imbalanced and why it bothers me as a unit. If I could just, like, slap a replay on the background that contains Condottieros and the Viper, like, killing a small child with that. He wouldn't... I'm going to be clear, the Viper would never harm a small child with Condottieros. That is actually a war crime, and the Viper is an awesome person. But, just some VOD of him harming an adult man, probably doubt, with Condottieros. If I can just slap that in the background, it'd be much easier for me to produce this type of content, but... Man, there's just so many interesting dynamics in this game. There's another resource that people don't think about that often. They don't play Arena. And back in my day, back when I was like 1680 on Voobly, and I was playing with Clan and stuff, we played quite a bit of Arena. And building space is also a resource that is utilized really, really well in Age of Empires 2. Look how cramped Cataclysm's base is. His build count's actually gone up, by the way, so... everyone should give him a seems good or a clap if anyone has a relevant clapping emote. I think it's time to have a little bit of a celebration for Cataclysm. His build count did go up very, very slightly, but he is being raided by Teutonic Knights, and I don't know how to feel about that. And again, I just can't help but shake the feeling that this area is not being adequately protected. Like, Cataclysm is absolutely deserving of his, 2K plus ranking. Like, this guy is insanely good at Age of Empires 2. He is the counter god. He's making the perfect units to deal with the situation, but what he's not doing is he's not valuing this back area. Now, he may have his reasons now that Eddie's in the Imperial Age. I think he had an opportunity, right, earlier. I'll look at Eddie grabbing the relics, but he can't because, man, this game's got great unit pathing. It's excellent. It could not be improved. I lied. Aoe2 HD, they found a way to make it worse. And the turntables have turned, though. Cataclysm's making an interesting decision. He's like, okay. I lost my own base. I think he should have, like, fortify walled off this area, actually, and try and strip mine these resources as fast as possible. You know what he's doing? Another thing that makes this game so good. Another one is that when you go aggressive with a forward like this, like Eddie's doing, you are leaving your base completely vulnerable. And now Eddie's going to drop a defensive castle. This is my type of castle plays. This is a res castle right here. Look at everything that it's protecting. It's so safe. He's building a market too. I like that. What's his eco like? Cash fucking money. I like to see that. Of course he has cash money. Wanna know why? Because he's been stealing all of Cataclysm's money. Seriously. This is such a cool strategy. And it's completely, entirely map dependent, and why Age of Empires 2 has survived for so long. I mean, I asked one of the original developers, and, like, what does he think is the most important factor in Age of Empires 2 longevity? And obviously he said there were a lot of factors at play, but he thought that it was the random maps. Because they force you to adapt. And that's what makes Break the Meta as a series possible. That's what has encouraged Eddie to go, like, all in and strip mine his entire opponent's base, salt the earth. Doesn't matter, Cataclysm gets his own base back. And you know what? He's kind of feeling it. He's like, how valuable is my own base exactly? I don't know. Do I need to even out this eco discrepancy? He's up to 56 villagers, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Is he a stage of comeback? Because again, wait, what the fuck? Okay, Cataclysm resigned. I was gonna say, is he a stage of comeback? Because when I watch a Break the Meta replay, I only watch the first 20 minutes just to determine if there's something, like, particularly interesting in there. See, at the end of the day, what cost him the game is, I think, not valuing this area enough as, as just a place that he needs to defend. Just, it doesn't. And Eddie recognizing this because he plays more arena than any human maybe ever should. And he is so goddamn good at it that it shows. That Eddie is even building a siege workshop over here. Because he knows that this is the area that wins the game. And Cataclysm, militarily speaking, could have barely played this game better. It's some of the best Teutons military play I've seen. This is the army comp you need. You see how he doesn't even have, like, maybe he could have gotten padded archer armor or something like that, but the crossmen aren't that threatening. The crossmen actually die to the bombard cannon, which is a small area of effect, and, with some correct micro, which he did, he didn't really need to waste any money on padded archer armor. Like, he was doing pretty well. He just needed to get the upgrades on the halberdiers, so he got +1 defense, which was helpful against the crossbows, but he knows that Eddie doesn't want to commit to archer range units as the Teutons, unless he's cosplaying as the Conqueror's AI, which I like to do from time to time. But yeah, Cataclysm making a bold play, going for Eddie's base, trying to take it down. And maybe he could have. I think this was a premature GG almost, but he felt his eco was just too weak. If he, like, fortified walled this, right? And he focused more on putting his eco over here, because inevitably he was going to lose this, right? Because there's a tree line right here, and then eventually Eddie's going to reach the Imperial Age in about 2018, 2019, sometime in the future. You skip ahead a couple hours in the video, you'll find it. And then your fortified walls are going to be toast. They're going to be absolutely toast. Siege engineers is coming out, trebs are coming out, bombard cannons, etc. But if you stall, and again, Eddie didn't get to the castle age for quite some time, what you do, fortify wall off this area, strip mine this, strip mine that, and kind of forfeit these resources. I think that Cataclysm oversaturated his unsafe resources, that he wouldn't have a safe enough time defending, and that he actually could have maybe won this game, maybe, if he strip mined these resources, and then he went in for the kill when he did. When he basically had, like, no eco. Because he has a way better military than Edie does. Like, they both have the same amount of military units, but this bombard cannons plus halberdiers plus hand cannoneers, I think he could have done it if he just had a little bit more money. But Edie had a lot of money, and he built a market, and he was going to buy more, and it was going to spiral out of control for him, so I understand why he would GG. I mean, you know when the conscription's coming out. I think we all know when a conscription comes out, the game's getting real serious, so... this is overall an absolutely excellent game to watch. It's really cool to see Castle Age Teutonic Knights being utilized extremely well, and this works because Edie debated Cataclysm into making pikemen, and it wasn't even... It was a debate, but you have to understand that these are forced moves by Edie that Cataclysm, I don't think, responded incorrectly to. I think the only thing that he could have done better was protect this area further and even prevent Edie from discovering it. Because remember, if he stonewalled this, you know, Edie might be curious. Everyone's a little bit curious. But he doesn't have... Ain't nobody got time for that. Or maybe you just, like, you know, fake it with some buildings or something like that, you know? You just kind of stall the discovery of it. You want Edie to be suspicious, but you don't want him actually getting idle time on your gold miners. And I think that Cataclysm could, because this game was really close, he could have won this game if he focused more on building his eco at the back, cleaning that out, and then he could have had two options at that point. Either push forward and blow up most of Edie's eco, because at this point a lot of Edie's eco is actually in Cataclysm's own base, and maybe win the game that way. Or just say, fuck it, exit out the left side of your base, and push in and try and kill Edie, because Edie has almost no defenses. The fact that when you forward someone so hard that you have no defenses at your own base is just a natural part of the game that makes it so interesting, and provides such cool military tactics without the need for excessively special, you know, unit activatable abilities and skill shots. This game doesn't need that because it just flows so perfectly. And Cataclysm also made a great play by focus firing down the monastery. When you forward someone on arena, chances are of you picking off their monastery is really high because monks are super slow. If anyone actually can cite an example of a certified monk, winning a marathon, because I'm sure that's happened, someone find one on Wikipedia, leave it in the comments and let me know. I'd like to read about that story. But from what I understand, you know, most clergymen, you know, they're carrying their textbook, they're carrying their rod. They're a little slow, so in order to get the relics, you have to build your monastery closer to your stone walls, and then that typically ends up allowing your opponent to pick it off quite easily. And there were so many great moments in this replay. Like, if only I could watch it again. You know, we even saw some Scorpions sync play. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please do take a moment to leave a like rating and a comment on YouTube. It helps me out so very much. Oh, so very much. And there will be more Break the Meta on the way, as well as more videos for other games. Just realized Glitch Scythe, actually he never texted me, but I'm gonna send a message right now. Stick around, everybody. Alright, I'll be on in 2 to 3 minutes, friend. Alright, stick around, everybody, though, because I'm about to do a gaming podcast with Glitch Scythe about Empires Apart, Prismata, and myself, so this is something that you would all be very interested in. But again, before I end this off, I do want to emphasize that if you want to grow the Age of Empires 2 community and support my channel, one of the best ways to do it is to support the content for games beyond just Aoe2. Everyone loves Age of Empires. Few people know that it's played online today. You see evidence of that everywhere, and I want to be the person that helps them rediscover the game, learn the game, become the master, and then castle drop your opponent, make some discounted Petards. Thank you, Cision, for the 20 food discount. Drop those Teutonic Knights, which are marginally faster. Come to your opponent's eco, wreck his day. What a great game. Do you all enjoy that? I'm going to see real quick before I skedaddle if I missed anything that was... Some great bombard shots in there. That's why I like to generally do... You can expect most Break the Metas to be an offline type thing, because I need to make sure that I don't miss anything, because I missed some sick bombard can shots and whatnot. But you all saw them, And in general, most Break the Meta will be... They will be like a post-commentary type thing, just so I can make sure. Kenner says, I'd rather there be 20 hours of additional streams over a 60-hour project than to make an hour-long video. Completely agree. The balance video just did not expect them to release a balance patch into beta so soon. That just completely invalidated that video, so, you know. Ray says, quantity over quality as long as quality is reasonable. Completely agreed. And I'm going to overhaul the crap out of the quality in my Twitch streams. Lobby Simulator will be dead, but I ask that we do not let the meme die. Because I think it's funny, and occasionally I will still cast live things. Ready says, nice casting. Resonance 22, thank you, Ready says, I like the live format over offline recording. Might make things easier for you. It does, but I'm a perfectionist. I like to not miss things. Flash says the GG was not premature. That's true. It's true. It was, I would say, it was very ever so slightly premature, but it was like on the cusp. You know, I'm gonna go with you and say he had a 3% chance of pushing it back maybe, but he absolutely had. But 3% is not a good enough margin, so so we can't call that GG premature. Fletch is right. I think he could have pulled it back. I think he could have, but I would have resigned there, my friend. I would have resigned. Basso says, yes, it was fun watching Break the Meta live. I think the casting was quite good. Thank you. This seems more spontaneous than offline recorded buildings. Yeah, this was more spontaneous. I didn't even plan to cast Break the Meta live today, but Ready Teddy submitted me a series of games to cast, and I came across this one. And I was like, whoa, this is actually like good Break the Meta material. I'm seeing Castle Age Teutonic Knights. I'm seeing Scorpions. I'm seeing a guy who doesn't care about the Imperial Age. And I love the offensive versus defensive dynamic at play here. You know, Imperial Age versus Castle Age. How good is the Imperial Age? I'll do a Kriparian style video. It's pretty bad. I'm kidding. It's really good. It's really good. It was a great game. Mitsock asks, are we really not getting viewer games today? Unfortunately, the stream is delayed really heavily due to a lot of technical difficulties as well as poor glitch life being sick. But there are going to be a lot more streams to make up for this in the future. Just wait for January. I need to overhaul the Twitch stream, overhaul my Patreon goals, and then we'll do so many viewer games to make up for it that yeah. All right, so I'm going to transition now into hosting Glitch Scythe. Everybody, please stay tuned for this epic podcast. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited for it, and I hope you all are too. So please stay tuned. Thank you so much for the donations, all the subscriptions today. Even those of you on YouTube who don't use AdBlock, and just leave a comment and a like on every video. If you share my stuff on social media, like Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, the Age of Empires forum, Steam forums, etc., it helps a lot. You guys are wonderful. We'll be back in about a minute hosting the live stream of Glitch Scythe. Stay tuned for an awesome gaming podcast.